Hello everyone, welcome to DevFest India 2020. I'm Akanshi Srivastav and I'm currently working at Gojek as a product engineer. Today we're going to start our mobile track 101 and we're going to cover the Android basics and we'll be building UIs to make our first clone of Book My Show app. Now Sagar and I will explain you how to start with Android, the history of Android, Android basics with layouts, and you will be able to make your first project. Are you excited? So over to you, Sagar, to start.
Thank you, Akanshi. Hi, everyone. My name is Sagar Viradia. I am an Android engineer at BookMyShow and also co-organizer of GDG MAT. As Akanshi already mentioned, we'll be covering, Android basics in this track. Um, like back in 2019, like who would have thought like DevFest 2020 would be like this? But here we are, connecting virtually. So I hope like you guys are safe. And without further ado, let's get started. All right. Let me just walk you through like what we will be covering in this year's DevFest mobile track, so that you'll get a high level picture of what we will be covering. Um, so on day one, we'll be starting with Android basics, and later we'll build a BMS clone, the Book My Show movie listings clone, and we'll teach you how to build UI and uh, basically we'll focus on UI only today. Day two would be more about making an API request to a remote server, getting data, and stitching that data to UI. And day three would be about structuring your code, building something which is properly architected. So you'll be focusing on MVVM architecture, and also we'll be adding offline support to our app, so that even if you're not connected to internet, you will be able to access app in offline. All right. So moving on, uh, let's just focus on today's agenda, what we'll be covering today in this session. So we'll start with Android introduction first. What is Android and why you should pursue Android development, and then we will talk about like how to kickstart your Android Studio project, uh, creating projects from scratch, and then we will discuss about UI UX, which will help you to create better UI, and at the end later we'll be building our BMS clone. So we'll be building our UI, and later we will show you how to set up your device so that you can run your app. All right, moving on. Uh, so as I mentioned, like goal is to create this UI that you are seeing on your screen right now. We'll be creating movie listing screen, and basically we'll be focusing on UI basics on Android today. All right. So before we start with that, let's just talk about basics of Android, what it is and why you should pursue Android development. So what is Android? So as you may all know, like Android is widely adopted mobile operating system. But one fun fact about Android is like it was started as a camera OS, and now it got acquired by Google, and now it's world's largest operating system for mobile and other devices. And it's based on Linux operating system. So Linux is the operating system which is powering Android. And the second question that you might be asking, like why I should pursue my career on Android, why Android and why not on other platform? So there are a couple of reasons for that. Android is open source, so it's an open source operating system, and basically you can uh, right now you can check what's going on within OS. You can, if you are curious enough, you can explore entire OS, and you can learn about many things which are internal to Android OS. So it's open source. It's flexible enough. It allows you to customize a lot of things, And basically, this will allow you to uh, experiment with stuff, and you can customize a lot of things while developing for Android. Second reason why you should pursue Android development is the developer community is really helpful. So there are a lot of content out there in terms of video and blogs. So if you're stuck somewhere, most likely chances are there like solution is already out there, and you can basically Google it, and you can quickly solve your problem. So it's very easy to get help from others. And the third reason why you should pursue Android development is a wider reach to your audience. So Android is widely adopted, so you will have that wider reach to your end user. So many countries where Android users are more compared to other platforms are targeting Android first rather than other platforms. So it makes sense to uh, for wider reach to your audience. It makes sense to develop for Android. All right. Uh, Moving on, the next thing that I would like to discuss here is Android versions. So it's really important to have knowledge about Android versions before starting Android development. So each year Google release one new version of Android with a bunch of new features and new APIs for developers, so that uh, like Google can introduce new features every year. So as you can see on your screen, the image that you are seeing is the history of Android releases so far, and it is important to know like which version has which set of features. So while developing, you will be getting idea if you want to support certain feature, you should be knowing like which version is supporting that feature, so that you can target your audience accordingly. So it's really important to have this knowledge. Moving on, now I would like to hand over to Akankshi, and she will walk you through creating your very first Android project. So over to you, Akankshi.
Thank you so much, Sagar. Now that we know about Android and different versions of Android, let's start making our first project. So, can I please have my screen up? I would like you all to open your Android studios now. And here you must be seeing a bunch of options. So, let's go to start a new project. Now you see it gives you an option to select a project template. So project template or a bunch of activities basically. So what is an activity exactly? Let's discuss that first. So activity is basically a window on screen on which your layout goes. Your layout is structured, your UI and UX is all structured within your activity. Whatever the user is able to see, it is all happening inside your activities. So here you see the empty activity is selected by default. So empty activity is basically the most elementary activity and it's like a blank screen. So if you open an app with an empty activity, it will have nothing. Similarly, there are other activities. For example, there is basic activity. So in the basic activity, you'll notice there are some ready-made components already available for you. For example, there's an action bar on top, which has options like to go back and for menu. And there's also a floating action button. That is the round button that you see at the bottom. Similarly, there are more activities which have more components on them. But for now, let's start with the empty activity. So I'm going to select that and I'll proceed forward. Now it's the turn to set the name of my project. I'm going to name it Book My Show Plot. You must have noticed as I was making the change to my name, my package name also got changed. So, what is a package name exactly? A package name is used to identify your application uniquely on your device and also on Google Play Store. So this usually is in the format of domain, your company name, and your project name. But this is all optional, and you as a developer can set what the package name can be. Then for now, I'm setting the location as desktop. I set the language as Kotlin, and coming to our minimum SDK. So what is a minimum SDK that we're setting here? If you click on the drop down, you'll see a bunch of different versions of Android that Sagar was just talking about. So out of that, right now, I've selected KitKat. So a minimum SDK ensures that your application is running on that SDK, on that version of Android and above. So it is very important to make sure that we choose a version which supports maximum devices. Now here you'll see, if you notice, it says that my app will run approximately on 98.1% of devices. If I move to the older versions, this percentage will actually increase. Now let's try and see what happens if we move to the latest versions. This percentage will decrease as we move to the latest versions. Now, this is because most of the devices have still not migrated to the newer versions. And it is very important that we select our version, the minimum SDK, very appropriately. That is because we want the users to be able to use the features and components that we're using inside our app. There were different changes that were introduced in different versions of Android, which some of them are not supported in the older versions. So if you are adding such features in your application, you would want to make sure that your app is running smoothly and the UX is amazing. So let's proceed with API 19 for now. And I'm going to click on finish. This will just load my project with two things on the screen right now. One is my main activity and one is my main XML file. So activity is something that we just discussed in detail. Now let's see what happens in the XML file, right? If I open my XML file, you'll be able to, if you do so, you will be able to see a screen on the right side and the code on the left. So this is what my activity is going to look like right now. So because this is a blank screen, this is an empty activity, you see the only thing in the activity right now is a text view. And that is why it just shows a text view right now. So now to understand these things in detail and how to design your own UI and UX and to customize your layout, let's go over to Sagar and see what he has to say about this. Over to you, Sagar.
Thanks, Akanshi. So now that we have our basic project ready, let's just talk about Android UI basics. So let's just switch over to demo. I'll show you how to create a UI on Android. Okay, so we have so as Akanshi already talked about, the screen that we have here, the main activity, and the screen associated with that activity is main activity underscore main. So this is the layout file wherein you write your UI. And when it comes to UI on Android, the UI is made up of two things basically. The UI is made up of view and view group. Now, typical Android UI is a mixture of view group, uh, and basically view is very basic building block of Android UI, wherein user can interact with it. So consider view with text, button, and image. So user can copy text, user can click on button, and user can zoom in and zoom out to image, right? So these all are the interactions which are possible with views. So like view is a single entity on your screen, and coming to view groups are nothing but invisible container that basically structures your child view within. So view group can have other view groups and view within, and depending on which view group you are using, it will position its child so that you can create complex UI. So let's just focus on what all inbuilt views Android has, and let's just learn about that. So the very first view we'll be talking about is text view. Now text view, as name suggests, text view you'll be using to render text on screen. So as you can see here, as I typed text view, the two attributes are there, which is layout width and layout height. Now these two attributes, irrespective which view you are using or which view group you are using, these are the mandatory attributes that you have to always specify. So three things which are possible for width and height is either you can wrap your content. When you wrap your content, basically it simply wraps whatever this text view will have. So whatever text this text view will have, it simply wraps that. Then other possibility is match parent. So match parent will match the the width of this text view uh, with the parent of this text view, which is frame layout. So it will match the entire width of your screen. And also you can specify the custom width. So you can use something specific to your requirement. So you can specify 100 dp width and 200 dp height. Now DP stands for density independent pixel. And think of it as a like irrespective of your screen density, it will be consistent across. We'll be not going into detail, but just keep in mind you have to use DP for specifying width and height and other dimension on Android. So as you can see on the right hand side preview panel, we have a text view ready. In order to provide text, you can use text attribute, and you can have any text within, and it will render on screen. Also, it has bunch of other attributes that you can use. As you can see here, you can specify uh, your font family, or you can specify color, so text color, and everything is possible. So you can use all these attributes to customize your text view. All right, so next text view that will be you know uh, going through is image view. Now image view, as name suggests, is responsible for rendering image on screen. So as always, we have to specify width and height. So let's just have that first. And in order to provide the image, either you can use something which is locally stored within your app, or you can hit remote server and get image. And in order to provide local image, you have to use source attribute. As you can see here, I'm using source attribute, and let's just use one of the inbuilt image Android Studio has. So this way you can, as you can see on right hand side, you can specify images on screen. So you can use image view to render images. All right. Next view that will be seeing is button. So button is responsible for if you want to have something that user can interact, click. So at that time you'll be using button. And button, so you can specify width and height, and it will show you the button without text. And in order to provide text, you can use text attribute, and you can have any text within. So this way, as you can see here, we have a button with text next on it. Now, let's say you want borderless button. How to achieve that? You can use style attribute, and you can use one of the inbuilt style, and you can make your button borderless. So this way, as you can see here, your button is now borderless. So you can customize your button. Same thing, you can customize text color and your button background. All right, so this is all about like basic views that Android has inbuilt. Of course, there are many more, but we won't be able to cover like each and everything. But you can explore that later on. Coming to view group. Now, view groups are, as I mentioned, like invisible container within your app, which will structure your child within in a certain way. So there are a couple of view groups, inbuilt view groups on Android. So basically, you have frame layout, you have linear layout, you have relative layout, and you have constraint layout. We won't be able to cover each and every view group, but we will be covering constraint layout. And constraint layout you'll be using most of the time because it's a recommended layout. You should use that because it will make your UI efficient. It is faster to render UI if you use constraint layout. So let's just see how to use constraint layout. So as you can see, I have a demo file ready for constraint layout, and let's just see how to create a view using constraint layout. Now, constraint layout, the beauty of constraint layout is like you don't have to interact with your XML. You can directly use this drag and drop mechanism to build a constraint layout. So let's just do that. Let's just drop one text view here. Now, as you can see here, we have text view ready. And it's giving me, complaint that this text view is not constrained. And when you run your app, by default, it will move to top left corner because constraint layout needs two things. It needs at least one horizontal and one vertical constraint so that it can figure out where it can, place your view. So let's just do that. So in order to provide constraint, just click on this text view and you will be able to see four dots. These are the anchor points. Now, in order to provide constraint, just click on in order to provide horizontal constraint, just click on any of these dots, left or right, and drag your pointer towards left hand side, and it will constrain your text view towards left hand side of parent, which is constraint layout. And you can provide vertical constraint using any of these dots, top or bottom, and drag your pointer upwards, and it will constrain this text view vertically to the top of parent, which is constraint layout. Now, if you switch to code, now this red line has gone now because we have necessary constraint. Okay, so we have two constraints, but you can have all four, but two are mandatory. Like you should have at least one and one horizontal and one vertical. So, all right. So now that we have four constraints, let's just learn an interesting concept called bias. So when you have opposite constraint, left and right, or top or bottom, as you can see on right hand side of your preview panel, there's a layout section, and there are two things: vertical bias and horizontal bias. So if you want to move this text towards top portion or towards bottom or towards left or right, you can tweak this bias to achieve that. So if I move this vertical bias top to the top, it will move this text view to the top of the screen. Same with horizontal bias, I can move this text view left side or right side. All right, so this is how you can achieve, basically, this is how you can constrain your layout within constraint layout. And let's just talk about how to position child relative to each other. So constraint layout, within constraint layout, you can basically, yeah, within constraint layout, you can basically put your child relative to each other. So you can have, as you can see here, this text view is right hand side of the first text view. So you can position your layout like this, relative to each other. So, all right. So this is all about constraint layout, and there are many more features you can explore later on. But this is all about basics of Android UI, how to create UI using views and view groups. I would like to hand over to Akanshi now, and she will walk you through the basics of UI UX. Over to you, Akanshi.
Thank you so much, Sagar. Now, let me help you with a small introduction on what UI and UX actually is. So, UI stands for your user interface. So, whatever the user is able to see on the screen is known as the UI. It's the graphical layout of an app. So, you can actually add any elements as Sagar was just talking about. For example, you can add the buttons that users can interact with, you can add image views, text views, and a lot more elements. So this UI is very important that it matches the brand of your product and it is also aesthetically good. Similarly, let's move on to what a UX is. UX is known as the user experience. We would want the user to have a good user experience, and this experience is actually the interaction between the user and the developer, and it actually is set by you adding a small bunch of micro interactions in the app. So when these micro interactions and the experiences are added into the app, it ensures that the user is able to understand how the app is behaving and get feedbacks from it as well. So why is it important to have both of them in the application? And now imagine an application where there is just a UI which is like amazingly beautiful, but it has a very bad UX. You're not able to access anything, you're not able to work around it at all. Similarly, now imagine another application where the UI is not that good looking, but it gets the job done and the experience is amazing for you somehow. Would you actually want to go back and use these apps again? Or let's go to the third alternative. Like if you have an app which has a balanced UI and UX, it's flawless. It has a like an amazing UX for you, and you're able to see everything, and it actually behaves according to your expectations. I'm pretty sure you would end up like spending hours on such an application, won't you? So that is why it's very important to have a complementary UI and UX in an application. Now, without much further ado, let's go ahead and see how we can code and have our own UI UX in the application. Over to you, Sagar.
ID, and you can follow along now to create our BMS clone. So let me switch to Android Studio. Okay, so before before starting, we will be needing a couple of things. So just follow me. We will be needing few dependency for upcoming session as well. So we'll be including here, uh, and we'll be changing couple of things, colors and style. So let's just do that. So in the description below, you'll be able to see a couple of gists. Just open the first gist and copy the entire thing which is there and paste it to your build.gradle file. And just make sure you're opening your app's build.gradle file. And this will add all the dependency that we'll be needing in the upcoming sessions. And sync your project. It will take a couple of minutes to download all the dependency. And once we are ready, all right, so our dependency is in place now. Uh, Also, let's change our color as well to match our color style that you can, uh, you know, see on the slides. So let's just change this colors to our theme color. So just open the second, gist in the description below, color.xml, and replace this entire file with the new content. So this will add all the colors that we'll be using for our app, VMS clone. All right. So with that, I think the only last thing that we have to change here is change your app compat theme to material theme so that it will be, following all the material design guidelines, and we'll be able to use material components. Let's create layout for our card first, the movie listing card. So go to layout, right click, and create new layout. Just let's just name it to movie item layout .xml. All right. Now our parent would be card view, right? Because we are building cards. So just in the root element, just type material card view and click OK. All right. So we have our layout ready now. Um, the very first thing that we'll be needing is constraint layout. So we'll be using constraint layout to position things within. So let's just add that. Okay, I have constraint layout now. Uh, so as you can see in the card, we have five things. One, your image. Then we have four text view. So let's just add image first. All right. And let's just provide the dummy image here. Now, why I'm using tools namespace? Tools namespace allow you to preview your stuff, and when you actually run your app, it won't be there. So just for our purpose, we are just using this for preview. but we'll be loading this image from API, from remote server later on. Okay, so now our image is in place. Let's just define constraint for this image. So top, left, right, top, three constant. Okay, now let's just remove the extra space that we have. So we'll be basically won't be using wrap content or any height. We'll be following aspect ratio to give width and height. So in order to do that, uh, in your layout panel, just click on the top left corner, and if you click on that, by default the aspect ratio of your image view is 1:1. Change that to 1:9 and hit enter. Now our image is like looking nice, and extra space has gone now. Uh, and to look it more better, we can use scale type. And scale type will remove the extra space on the left and right side, and it will center crop it. So as you can see here, we are using center crop scale type. All right. So now we need a four text view. So let's just quickly add four text view here. Okay, let's position them as per our requirement. So we'll be needing two on the left side and two on the right side. So you can define the constraint for that. Same with the other two text views. All right. So now let's focus on giving extra space because right now it's sticking towards left and right side of the parent. So let's just give extra space. So you can provide extra space within layout panel. You can use this drop down to provide margins. So we'll be using 16 dp margin for all four text views. Cool. So now our text views are ready. Let's just use, uh, some dummy value to visualize things better. So the first thing is this. The first thing is our movie title, right? So let's just change this ID to movie title. And oops, sorry about that. And make sure wherever you are changing wherever you are referencing this ID. So you just have to replace wherever you are referencing. Uh, let's just change this to movie poster. This is okay. We just have to, as I said, we just have to reference. We just have to change wherever we are referencing. Otherwise, it will complain. All right, cool. So let's just style this text. First, let's just provide dummy value. Okay, and let's just style this. So you can use text appearance here, and you can use inbuilt style. So now our movie title is nice, big and bold. Let's focus on release date. Let's just rename this to release date, and let's just use dummy value for now. And let's just style this using text appearance. Uh, let's just use this. Cool. So next thing is our average uh, voting, and let's just replace wherever we are referencing this view. All right, and let's just give dummy value. So 3.4. And as like as we already saw in the BMS clone, there's a thumbs up icon, little thumbs up icon besides this text view. So let's just include that. Just right click on drawable uh, and new vector asset, and you can choose from Android Studio ship with bunch of vector assets, so you can choose one of them and you can use this now. So to give the icon to left hand side of this text view, you can use drawable left or drawable start, and you can reference this. So now we have icon to the left of this voting, and let's just give padding as well to our icon and text. Okay, and let's just style it using text appearance and give a nice style. Okay, the last thing is total votes, and let's just give dummy value to this total votes. uh, all right, so our UI is ready now. As you can see, few things we have to do. We have to change this height to wrap content so that it will nicely wrap our entire view, and we just have to give margin around card. So you can use layout margin attribute and you can provide margin. Okay, let's just use 8 dp as a margin, and we just have to give corner radius as well. So for that, use this attribute and give corner radius, and let's give elevation as well so that it will cast shadow. So you can use this attribute, and let's just give padding to the bottom as well, uh, so that this text view will not look ugly. The last two text view that we have. All right. So our UI is ready now. As you can see, the image with 4 text view. So I would like to hand over to Akamshi to cover the listing portion of this. So over to you, Akamshi.
Okay, thank you so much, Sagar. Can I please have my screen up? So now that we have made our layout, the item layout, let's go and see what happened to our main layout. So do you remember we left it here where our main activity was looking like this? So now to make this layout, we have a gist for you where you can go and copy the code for the main XML, and you just have to paste it here. I'm just going to quickly go through all the elements that I've added here. There are three main views inside our frame layout. One is a progress bar, one is a recycler view, and one is the text view. So this progress bar is going to ensure that when your items are still loading in the list, this is visible. Similarly, the recycler view ensures all the items in the list are there that you see on the screen on the right side. And then the text view, which is an error view, to ensure that if there is some issue and the recycler view is not able to fetch items, it will just show the error and you will have nothing on the screen. So isn't like so exciting that we are done with the code now? Now let's see how it will look when we run it. So can I please go over to the slides once? Thank you. Yeah. So now that we're done with our coding, let's try to understand what an emulator and developer options are. So emulator is basically a virtual device, which is like a Android device on your system to work with, and you can test your Android apps in it. Similarly, your developer options are options which you enable in your physical Android device. You can connect your phone to your computer and you can actually run your app to test it out. So let's see how that works. Can I please have my screen up? All right, let's go to the AVD manager. You have to go to tools and click on the AVD manager. AVD manager is nothing but your Android virtual device manager. So you'll be able to see all the available devices here. So let's create a new one for now. I'm going to select Pixel 2 as my opted device. I go to next. And here you have to set the version of the device. Since we have minimum SDK as 19, 28 will work. There's no problem. Now let's set a name for our device. I'm going to call it a demo phone. And then let's click on finish. Once you click on finish, you will actually be able to see your device here. Isn't that cool? Now let's go to the slides and see how you can actually enable developer options on your device. If you're on your devices, if you have an Android device, you just have to go to settings and then click on about phone. Go to the build number and tap on it 7 times, and it'll just show you that awesome, you're a developer now. Then now you just have to go to settings again, and you'll be able to see the developer options there. Just go there and enable USB debugging. Just click on OK and connect your laptop with your phone. Now let's go back to our code and let's see what happens. Once you're here, once you have created your virtual device and you might have actually enabled developer options on your device, you might want to run your app and see what happens. In that case, you have to just go to this red button, to this green button, and next to this is a drop down. You have to select the device on which you want to run your app. So this is the demo phone that I just created. I'm going to hit on the run button, and let's see what happens. You'll notice that my app is getting built, and after this will be installed on my phone. As it's still installing, let's see. Yes, here it is. Now you're able to notice that there is only a spinner on the screen. That is because we've not given any items on the list right now. So this is what the expected behavior was for it to be happening right now. So if you're done with day one, you're now actually able to make your own project and run it in your own phone or your devices. Isn't that cool? So over to Sagar to see what all, to summarize what we did today and what's going to happen tomorrow. Stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you, Akanshi. So now that your app is ready, at least UI is ready, let's just conclude today's session. So uh, we started with introduction about Android and why you should pursue Android development, and then we talked about creating your first project from scratch, and then we discussed UI UX, and then we actually started with BMS clone you know workshop. So, and at the end we saw like how to set up device and run your app. So now, like, you have a basic knowledge about how to build UI on Android. uh, Talking more about like day two, what we'll be covering. So tomorrow we'll be covering hitting the actual API and getting data from server. So it would be really interesting tomorrow, so don't miss that. Tomorrow and day after, uh, these concepts would be really helpful to you guys, and it's a like advanced concept that you shouldn't miss. So we really hope to see you tomorrow and day after. So with that, thank you so much for joining us today. And these are our Twitter handle. So we are active on Twitter. You can ping me and Akanshi to clarify any doubt. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.